The crossover. The ultimate solution for both playground rumors and creatively bankrupt corporations. Where's the money, Lebowski? Whether they come from comics, movies, or video games, the crossover can bring together things you never thought would belong. Like this. Hey all! Now, while there is no one right way to make a crossover, I believe there are two major camps of crossover that exist within the video game world. The first and most common type of crossover would be cosmetic. Look at Fortnite for an example. With the exception of the occasional weapon, Fortnite's gameplay loop does not change as a result of new characters being crossed over. It typically takes a popular character from movies, comics, video games, or real-life celebrities, imports them into one of the character model types that they have, and then puts them into the game for players to have fun with some of their favorite characters. And then, if you go to the other side of the crossover aisle, is where you'll find what I call the tribute crossovers, where they aim to adapt and, well, pay tribute to the material that's being crossed over with. Take Modern Smash as an example. While the OG Smash cast does have some nice references in their moveset, a lot of it was made up for a fighting game scenario. But if you take a look at some of the newer characters, the Belmonts feel straight out of the classic Castlevania titles. And that's my blue baby boy, super fighting robot! You can clearly tell when Sakurai and his team loved adding a character to this game because the attention to detail shines through every animation and attack. They didn't just take a character and give them a fighting game moveset. They adapted a game's style and gameplay feel into their specific game engine. While these two crossover types are the ones that you will see the most often, there's actually a third secret crossover type that doesn't get seen all that often, but I think is the best out of them all. This is what you call the blending, the unification, the platonic ideal of video game crossovers. God, that is such a video essay title. But yeah, what I believe in this platonic ideal of crossovers are when they take both materials being crossed over and perfectly blend them in a way that complements and celebrates each other. And to show that I'm not just talking out of my ass here, there's actually one video game series that for a while there consistently did this type of crossover to celebrate both itself and other popular games of the era. Kept you waiting, huh? Now, Metal Gear Solid is known for a lot of things. Being the king of the stealth game genre, being the cinematic masterpiece of beloved Japanese developer Hideo Kojima, a gripping tale about the dangers of war and our freedom in the face of it, or just some ridiculous series about ripped jeans, nanomachines, grabbing a twink by the balls, and memes. But the part of Metal Gear that always resonated with me the most was how it was a celebration of video games as a storytelling medium. There's so many mechanics that messed with and straight up shattered the fourth wall because it made for really cool experiences.
You like Castlevania, don't you?
And part of this big celebration of video games, while overlooked, was how often Metal Gear Solid crossed over with other games. While MGS has had many crossovers over the years of the cosmetic variety, I want to focus on the crossovers that pay tribute and adapt each of the different games it crosses over with. Specifically, an extended trilogy of crossovers that you can play in the Metal Gear Solid games, paying tribute to other popular PlayStation series. So, hear me out. What if Solid Snake knew how to grind?
Check me out, y'all. I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, beloved for its style, innovative gameplay, and how it masterfully captured the pure grit and radical feel of skateboarding, delivering it in near-perfect form onto PlayStation with a mastery and sense of programming finesse beyond anyone's imagination. The series' popularity lit a fire under game devs to all try and get a piece of the skateboarding game pie. So, when Konami wanted to cash in on this very popular trend, how do they do it? Have Waitin trick around Big Shell, of course. Okay, technically they released their own standalone skateboarding game, and probably added skateboarding to MGS2 to say, hey, you like our skateboarding here, right? You should go buy our big skateboarding game. Okay, interesting point, but why should I buy that when I have this? Found in the substance release of Metal Gear Solid 2, you can skateboard around as either Snake or Waitin, each with their own mission that takes them to various parts of the big shell, repurposed into a skate park. I'll just be straightforward and say that I'm not the best at this. My skateboard game of choice is one with a very low skill floor. So I might not feel the most qualified to talk about this, but I will say as a beginner figuring this out, man, it was satisfying. Learning how to properly ollie so I can land on rails and make sick flips off half pipes, figuring out how the balancing system actually works so I could grind along rails and string my combos across the entire map, and just being able to make my way from objective to objective whilst keeping up my combo I was able to feel like I was looking cool when I hadn't even scratched the surface. And I know that I actually improved by going through this, so I was able to take the knowledge that I got from this spin-off game in Metal Gear Solid 2 and not completely struggle when I apply that same knowledge to an actual Tony Hawk game. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. It's extremely straightforward. If you like skateboard games, you'll like this. So, Metal Gear Solid was nothing new to the PlayStation Portable by the time that Peace Walker came out. It was the last in 5 releases for the handheld, after 2 tactical RPGs and the Portable Ops duology. The crossover that you ended up getting in Peace Walker draws back to Portable Ops and the games it was inspired by, ditching the linear story of the previous numbered titles for a shorter mission-based structure that took advantage of the PSP's online functionality, pulled from another popular series for the console, Monster Hunter. Now, making this drastic of a change in Metal Gear Solid ultimately made sense for the pick-up-and-play nature of the PlayStation Portable, along with how the PSP and Monster Hunter were both popular among the Japanese market at the time. Adapting Monster Hunter's gameplay loop of how you have base to prepare for missions before going out and completing show objectives, and replacing the mission of hunting monsters with stealth and espionage worked out surprisingly well. And with how similar the gameplay for both of these series had become by this point, having an official crossover between the two was a pleasant surprise that at the same time felt like the logical conclusion for Metal Gear adapting Monster Hunter's gameplay. It was naturally integrated into the narrative with optional logs that weren't necessary for Peace Walker's main scenario, but opened you up to the optional Monster Hunter questline. Following the logs led you back to the starting beach where you could find the Monster Hunter's Calicos, who would then lead you to a remote island of monsters. Once you make it to this island, it's literally just Monster Hunter, where you have to face down against popular monsters such as Rathalos and Tigrex, and using your varied arsenals to take them down. You can focus on specific limbs and weak points to save yourself from dangerous attacks. You can cook your rations mid-battle to make them more effective. And you can even tranquilize the monsters to get even more parts from them for crafting stronger weapons. It just works so well. And that's not even mentioning the new monster that's unique to this crossover, Gear Rex. Whether it was made by Capcom or Konami, this guy is literally just the original Metal Gear Rex if it were flesh and blood over steel and programming. It was a walking tank with heavier armor compared to his contemporaries, and even adapting the rail cannon into a massive laser-shooting tail. It's a monster that very clearly pays tribute to Metal Gear's legacy, whilst feeling very in line with Monster Hunter's design philosophy. And so, we reach the end of our extended trilogy. Extended trilogy? Oh, right. Well, this last crossover was special. It was so special that not only did Metal Gear cross over with it then crossed back over with Metal Gear a year later. A series that, while it's been dormant for a very long time, please bring it back, Sony, I'm begging you. It was a massive turning point for the original PlayStation. Ape Escape is simple, but iconic. It took a unique spin on the Collectathon 3D platformer, using a varied arsenal that takes advantage of and shows off the potential of dual analog sticks to hunt down a bunch of mischievous monkeys. It changed gaming by introducing the world to an ecosystem where 2 analog sticks were the norm. And it also had that classic charm that was synonymous with PlayStation's early identity. Chasing down monkeys across all of time and space let the series be a fun, whimsical experience. Okay, so why cross over that goofy, silly kids game with Metal Gear Solid, the dark, gritty political drama of the game that pushed the bar of cinematic storytelling that is synonymous with PlayStation's modern identity? Well, both impacted PlayStation. They both shaped the way Sony would affect the gaming market. One pushing the envelope of serious cinematic storytelling, and the other helped Sony revolutionize how we control video games to this day. Not to mention, both are ridiculous.
Monkey.
Yeah, they could both be serious when the time calls for it, but neither are afraid to also be silly, wacky fun. Now, Ape Escape's crossover with Metal Gear actually comes in 2 parts. I'll start with the one that actually happened in Metal Gear, and then talk about the other side of the story later. This is the whole reason I made this video. With it coming back in Delta, now felt like the perfect time to talk about Snake and these funny monkeys. Now, none of this crossover is actually canon to Metal Gear's timeline, so they wrote it very indulgently. Like, what do you mean the Ape Escape professor is friends with both Otacon and Colonel Campbell? Or what about how Snake knows both Sam Fisher and Gabe Logan? What, do all stealth game protagonists go out for coffee on weekends? Needless to say, without a need to cling to any narrative conventions, Snake vs. Monkey makes fun of him.
I'll say it once and only once. I am not taking out any Metal Gears.
Don't worry.
And no saving some VIP or old man.
It's nothing like that.
If it's like a hot damsel in distress, I'll think about it.
Well, it's not quite a hot damsel in distress, but it is a rescue mission.
Rescuing who?
Apes.
What?
Monkeys. But not just any monkeys.
You said monkeys?
Just listen. Your mission is to infiltrate the jungle and capture all of the monkeys.
The scenario is simple, but it works. It reuses maps from Metal Gear Solid 3, but at the same time you play as Solid Snake and not Naked Snake, which makes no sense. But then again, Solid Snake is far more popular, so I get it. Places a dozen or so monkeys in the maps, and, well, go get them. Doesn't sound like it should work, but it does. Ape Escape's gameplay loop of needing to sneak up on monkeys to catch them, and making clever use of your gadgets to do so, works really well in a Metal Gear-style stealth capture system. Now, going back to Ape Escape's charm, each monkey has their own distinct personality, shown in how they interact with their level, along with a cute little journal entry that you get when you capture them. And while Snake vs. Monkey doesn't have a monkey companion, you still get to see the monkeys' personalities based on what they're up to when you catch them. Whoa, man, this is a really sick place you found up here. Anyway, do a flip! Oh, whoopsie daisy. If I don't move, he won't see me. Whoa, hey buddy, what you got there? Think fast, Chuckle Nuts.
Gotcha! All done! Yes!
Now, while this may seem like just a fun side mode and nothing more, beating Snake vs. Monkey actually has benefits to the main Metal Gear Solid 3. If you get a high score in every single mission, you unlock the banana camo, which allows all food to taste great regardless of its quality. And by just beating every mission, you get... I'm sorry. You get the monkey mask. This thing functions exactly how you think a crappy dollar store plastic mask would do, blocking your vision and even prolonging into cutscenes. On the inside, the pain is unending. On the outside, monkey. So, Metal Gear got its Ape Escape crossover, translating the gameplay loop of Ape Escape into the Metal Gear engine. Now, what would happen if Ape Escape adapted Metal Gear? Metal Gear Solid is a Metal game available in Ape Escape 3. While it does keep Ape Escape's twin-stick control scheme for gadget use, everything else is purely Metal Gear. We've got codec calls, we've got radar, we even got the cardboard box. There's even the smaller things that pay tribute to classic Metal Gear, like peeking around corners, blowing up walls with C4 watermelon, and rescuing prisoners. Now, Metal Gear isn't as demanding as its inspiration, but seeing as Ape Escape is also an easier game with a lower age rating, I don't mind the gameplay being baby's first Metal Gear. Plus, Mesal Gear isn't meant to be a one-to-one translation of Metal Gear Solid. What it does do is take the charm of Ape Escape and apply it to the world of Metal Gear, introducing a brand new generation of gamers to the Metal Gear universe with a faithful adaptation and blending of the two series. The opening feels straight out of the original Metal Gear Solid, sneaking through an industrial storage area, riding up an elevator, and sneaking into a snow base. It does get a little weird with its later levels, but that's simply a byproduct of reusing environments from Ape Escape 3. And I don't mind. No matter how weird it is to sneak through an Oriental castle or a Wild West town, the gameplay loop keeps you going. Plus, it's Ape Escape. I'm not expecting the most immersive experience from a funny monkey game. At the end of the day, I get a fun 1-hour experience where I get to play as a monkey version of Solid Snake, while having human Solid Snake act as my navigator. Plenty of fun back and forth between the two snakes.
Guess you've got some talent. You sound like me. Catch up with me as soon as you can.
At the very end, after rescuing Solid Snake, destroying Metal Gear, and defeating Peepo Ocelot, the ending captures the silliness and majesty of both of these series and their wonderful crossover.
By the way, we haven't been properly introduced yet. I'm Snake. You can call me that from now on. And you? Key. Interesting. A pair of snakes. Nice to meet you, Snake. I think we're going to get along just fine. Okay. I'm off to Colonel Campbell's place to report on the mission. What are you going to do now? Is that right? Well, I guess that's the way it goes. We'll probably meet again somewhere. The end.
What I love about crossovers like the ones I just highlighted are how they take two ideas that you wouldn't expect to go well together and combine them in a way that complements and celebrates them. I accept that most crossovers won't go this way due to the time and investment needed to pull it off, and because of that, I respect Metal Gear for its willingness to take the road less traveled. And with that, thank you so much for watching. You're playing through Delta right now. I hope you enjoy, and that this lead, the Metal Gear franchise, is somewhere promising. As for me, I need to get back to playing Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater from a Nintendo 3DS. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day. This is Glyph, signing off.